arresting you on suspicion of breaching your community protection order by being in less than 100 metres from a police station. I'm also arresting you on suspicion of being found in an enclosed premises. You do not have to say anything that may harm defence. You do not mention.
Welcome to Freedom Audit, where we highlight misconduct, examine police and legal issues, protect rights, and demand accountability. This episode is brought to you by Brett Chamberlain. To link below, subscribe to his channel and give him proper credit. In this episode, Brett walks into one of the most absurd and costly police mistakes I've ever covered. He enters the police station's privacy room, a room he had previously been allowed in, when suddenly 2 officers storm in and start questioning him as if he'd broken into a secure vault. Brett remains calm, but then they arrest him for allegedly violating a court order that has nothing to do with him. It's one of the most embarrassing misidentifications you'll ever see. And Brett turns this chaos into one of the largest payouts, I've featured on the channel.
Misidentifications you'll ever see. And Brett turns this disaster into one of the biggest payouts I've covered on the channel.
This isn't public access in here.
Yeah, but I'm in a conversation with a witness.
I know, but this isn't a public access area, so you can just head out into here for me.
I'm in the middle of a conversation. This is so that I can have a private conversation. Yeah, but I'm having a private conversation with him.
Okay, you're not at the minute though, so if you could just head out on here, because this is a private room. Thank you very much.
Sure. Right, what's your name again, sorry?
As I said, Tony.
Tony and Lucy, was it?
Yeah.
Right,
Correct.
And you're 8013.
7536.
And you want to know how I managed to get through there?
Yeah.
Why are you so curious about that?
See, are you not going to tell us? I mean, ultimately we can look at the cameras. If you can tell us, that would just be quicker for everyone involved, wouldn't it?
Well, I don't see what I need to tell you.
Okay, well we'll wait on you.
Why are you so curious about that then?
Because it's a locked room, that's all.
Maybe I've got superpowers.
Do we know who can access the cameras in the front office? Staff, I don't know.
The way these officers reacted, you'd think Brett had slipped past by a...
The officer's reaction made it seem like Brett had bypassed high-tech security. But all he did was open an unlocked, unmarked door. In policing and premises law, that distinction matters. Without warnings or barriers, the public has no reason to think a room is off-limits. Brett didn't force entry, ignore instructions, or bypass anything. The truth is simple. If a room is meant to be private, it's the police's responsibility to lock it. They didn't, which is a procedural failure, not a crime. Their attempt to check cameras instead of owning their mistake shows exactly why the situation escalated.
Come out of custody?
No.
No.
Well, I did go and see custody.
You want to go see her?
Yeah, I was just having a look round.
Did they help you?
Well, she opened the door for me.
Okay.
But I was having a look round.
I think we just need to make sure that this door is secure, that's really...
Yeah.
Because you're not committing any offences, so we just need to make sure that the door is secure, that's all. I wonder if it's just been left slightly...
But that's just a private room, isn't it? So you can have a private conversation rather than having a public one out there.
Into it, were you? I'm out of the police station. I don't want you in the police station.
Why not? It's a public building.
I think you've got bail conditions not to be in them.
No, I haven't.
You've got a CBO condition, have you not?
No.
What have you got then?
Nothing at all.
I think you're time to...
What's CBO stand for?
Criminal behaviour order.
No, I haven't.
My colleague's just going to get some details. And we'll work it out from there.
How are you? How can I not be allowed to go in a police station then? It's like not being allowed in a hospital if you had a road accident or something. If I've got business.
The male officer refuses to let Brett back into the police station. A public building based solely on, I think you've got a CBO. He hasn't even confirmed it with a colleague checking Brett's details. Acting on a hunch, he treats it as fact. You can't restrict someone's access to public services on a guess, especially when the person is clearly waiting for an officer they were already in contact with. A criminal behavior order is a serious post-conviction court order with strict restrictions. You don't assume someone has won, you must be certain. Because getting it wrong unlawfully denies an innocent person their rights.
You know my name, do you?
Yeah.
Because obviously that gentleman in there, who's very polite actually and very helpful, he knows who I am. What would happen if I went in the police station then?
You'll be breaching whatever order it is that you've been given.
Well, I haven't been given any orders. When you get, just tell me how you get given the order, because As far as I know, there's no order. But how would it have been presented? In some sort of document form, wouldn't it?
Usually, yeah.
And I'd have had a bit of paper with a bit of writing on there saying...
Or you may have been to court.
No, I've been to court. Only in jury service. I'm allowed in the police station until you can prove that.
Brett calmly points out the officer's mistake using clear logic. A criminal behavior order comes from a court, is recorded, served, and supported by proper paperwork. Anyone subject to it would have appeared before a magistrate or received official documents outlining the terms. By asking, "How would I get it?" Would I have been given documents? Brett exposes the only logical conclusion. If none of that happened, the officer has the wrong person, or there is no order. Before restricting access, the officer should have verified the order. Confirmed the person's identity, checked the system for a live CBO, and reviewed the service and terms. Proper policing standards require evidence-based action, not guesswork.
At the moment, no, because we don't want you in there just at the moment.
Why not?
Because we believe that you're breaching a community order.
Community order?
Yeah.
How else would the community order work then? So, for example, would it be for like antisocial behaviour or...
I believe so. I haven't seen the order myself.
Yeah, there would be. What I'm getting at is there would be a reason, would there, as to why you're not allowed to do something. Is that right? Yeah, and that would be down there as well. What sort of things could you be given that sort of?
There's a multitude of things.
Oh, go on. These are what I'm interested in. Hiya.
Hello. Can I just confirm your name is Julian?
Some people call me that. Yeah.
Okay, fine. Julian, the time is 1:15 p.m. I'm arresting you on suspicion of breaching your community protection order by being in less than 100 metres from a police station. I'm also arresting you on suspicion of being found in an enclosed premises. Do not have to say anything that may harm defence. You do not mention one question, something which later will lie in court. Anything you do say may be given evidence. Do you understand what that means?
Yeah.
You're under arrest.
She asks, "Your name's Julian." And Brett honestly replies, "Some people call me that." That should have been her cue to verify his full legal name, spelling, date of birth, and run all the standard checks. Instead, she treats a casual nickname as verified identity and moves straight to arrest. It's a catastrophic procedural failure, and the charges she invents are even worse. She arrests Brett for allegedly breaching a community protection order, then adds being found in an enclosed premises a claim that falls apart under her own words.
What happened was I was arrested. They used force against me and put me in cuffs and bent my fingers back. They stuck me into the back of the police van and took me around to the custody place where I was told that I'd breached a behavioural order and I'd got into a secure area. Well, I protested my innocence, and they looked into it and discovered that they had arrested the wrong person, that there's another person with my name and date of birth who has a behavioural order against them, and they thought that that was me, and like I say, arrested me for it. And then this secure area I got into, well, the door was ajar. It's in the public foyer where you have a private conversation with the police staff.
She admitted the door wasn't locked. She admitted he hadn't forced entry. She admitted no crime had occurred. And yet, she still arrested him for the very act she had already confirmed wasn't illegal. Brett was taken into custody like a dangerous criminal, all based on an identity they never properly verified. Once there, the truth came out immediately. The person they wanted shared the same name and birth date. But it wasn't Brett. This alone shows how recklessly they acted, arresting a man on a guess with no verification, no due diligence, and no safeguards against misidentification. The final embarrassment came when they accused him of entering a secure area. But even in custody, they had to admit Brett was right. The door wasn't locked. It was the public privacy room, meant for confidential conversations with staff. By the time custody staff realized he was completely innocent, the damage was done in lawful arrest, handcuff injuries. and a total failure of professionalism from start to finish.
Station there, I had a legitimate reason to be in there. I wanted to talk to them about the previous case. Guys in the custody suite, to be fair, are nice guys. Big up Graham in the custody, but they released me saying they'd checked the CCTV footage and seen that the door was ajar, and I just pushed the door open and went in, so it wasn't a secure area. So that's that really. Pretty shocking to get arrested.
Brett's response says more than any breakdown ever could. Someone asked how, with today's technology, police could arrest the wrong man in their own station. And Brett's reply sums it up. £7,000 plus fees, likely over £20,000. That figure tells the story. No one pays that kind of money unless the arrest was embarrassingly indefensible. The officers didn't just make a mistake. They made a catastrophic one, so bad that the only solution was quietly paying out taxpayer money to cover it. What makes this even more outrageous is how preventable it was. Brett wasn't aggressive, disruptive, or sneaking around. He simply entered an unlocked, unlabeled privacy room the police failed to secure. Yet they treated him like a fugitive. As the mistaken identity came to light, officers had multiple chances to stop and check, but they doubled down. Brett asked simple, logical questions. How would he receive the order? What documentation existed? Each should have been a red flag that he was the wrong person. Instead, the female officer admitted he wasn't committing any offense, then immediately handcuffed him for 2 charges he didn't commit. The outcome proves the point. A payout exceeding £20,000. It's only offered when there is no legal justification. Brett received justice, rightly so, but the public footed the bill for police incompetence. This case is a clear example of why competence in policing isn't optional, it's essential. That's it for today's episode. If you enjoyed it, like, comment, and subscribe. It helps me keep covering these stories independently. Also, check out Brett Chamberlain. His channel is linked in the description. Thanks for watching, rate the audits, and